So for those of you who don't know, Casey Neistat filmed a documentary over the span of the last 3 years, exposing the lives of the most famous influencers in the world, one of which was David Dobrik. There was a lot of tea spilt about David in this documentary. Unfortunately, this documentary isn't available for public viewing. However, someone on Reddit managed to watch the documentary and spilt all the tea on David. So let's rewind for a second. Casey Neistat had announced his documentary had aired on Twitter, stating, "For the last 3 years, I've been working on a documentary about what it means to be one of the most famous influencers in the world. I had no idea where exploring this story would take me. Today, the documentary premieres at the SXSW Film Festival." Basically, the documentary Under the Influence took a turn when Business Insider released the article in 2021 about the essay allegations made by a woman against a former member of David Dobrik's vlog squad, Dom Zaglates. As we all know, David's world began crumbling after this article was released, and it turns out Casey Neistat was there to capture it. And David is probably going to face even more backlash after this documentary airs to the public. I read somewhere that apparently it costs $500 to watch this doco, so it's uncertain as to whether or not this will ever air to the public. Casey Neistat recently partook in an interview with Variety magazine, answering questions about David Dobrik in the documentary, exposing what kind of an impact this will have on viewers and also David's career. Variety asked Casey, "You had been working on this project for over 2 years when the Business Insider article was released in March of 2021. In the wake of the allegations, several brands that had deals with Dobrik, including HBO Max, EA, HelloFresh, Dollar Shave Club, and SeatGeek, cut ties with him. Did you have to convince David to continue with the doc after the article?" Neistat responded, "The only time he engaged on camera after that article was released was for one final interview. It's an interview that has a very different tone from the rest of the film. It's an interview that is also peppered throughout the film, and it sandwiches the opening of the movie and the end of the movie." This is interesting because at this time, David had filmed his apology video, and we can imagine that he would have been far too humiliated to be documented at that time. So it completely makes sense as to why Casey Neistat was unable to film that much after all that happened. Casey Neistat's blunt responses about questions pertaining to David gave off embarrassing vibes. Has David seen this documentary? Neistat, he has seen the film. Will he be attending the SXSW Film Festival? Neistat, he and I have not spoken since shortly after that final interview, so I don't know his intentions, but I cannot imagine that he'll be there. So I take it he's not a fan of the film? Neistat, I certainly can't speak for him. We can kind of figure out what that means. David is definitely not happy about this documentary and probably didn't want it airing, and by the sounds of this last question, it's going to negatively affect his career. Despite the Business Insider article, David still has his YouTube channel and a successful online following, as well as a show on Discovery Plus. Do you think this documentary might have a negative effect on his online character? To which Neistat responded, "That's a question I think about a lot, but I have no idea." According to a Reddit user who had allegedly watched the documentary, they had broken it down for us all and exposed all the tea spilled about David Dobrik in the documentary. There's a lot to unpack, so grab your tea. All the tea from Under the Influence. I just got out of the premiere of Under the Influence by Casey, the documentary about David. See my last post for proof. Casey was there, Kat the reporter from Insider was there, and Philly D was also there. Essentially, the whole documentary was narrated by Kat. She gave all of the context for what YouTube is and the impact all of these events had. Overall, it was a very well done, non-biased documentary about everything David did in the last 3-ish years. Casey got footage of David long before the accident with Jeff happened, saying, "It's not fun unless someone gets hurt," while they were filming a different, less dangerous stunt. Casey said in the Q&A afterwards that the entire documentary was completed before Kat's article came out, but when it did, it changed everything. Casey asked David if he felt responsible for the essay, and at first he said no, Dom's the one who did it. But when Casey pressed him, he admitted it wouldn't have happened without him. They had footage with Dom where they toured the very NYC apartment where the essay happened, but Casey didn't know about it when he filmed that part. Dom was not interviewed at all, and when asked why during the Q&A, Casey said he was not interested in anything Dom had to say. A Vlog Squad superfan was also a part of the doc. They gave her real feelings of betrayal when she learned about the essay, and she was also in attendance at the premiere. New info: David tried to sell a show to Netflix 7 months before Kat's article came out, which Netflix did not buy because they said a YouTuber cannot make the transition to Netflix. The documentary framed this as putting more pressure on David's return to YouTube because his show didn't work out. They said the excavator stunt was basically just a side stunt. The main course was the skydiving. The final footage of the excavator stunt was only supposed to be around 3 seconds in the vlog. David fully blamed Jeff for the idea, saying he already had the footage he needed and Jeff wanted more footage for some reason. They showed all the footage of the accident. It made me sick to my stomach. Also, the documentary was super flattering for Jeff. I even asked in the Q&A why Casey decided not to include that Jeff implied that Todd bought the alcohol for the girls. He said there were a lot of details they thought about including. David's fines, the bullying, and Jeff saying that, but ultimately they decided to focus on the two things they wanted to highlight as the most egregious: the essay and Jeff's accident. When asked if he felt Kat's article was fair, David said no. He said it was between Dom and the girl, and now his reputation is forever stained and it shouldn't be. He said the article shouldn't have involved him so much. He then said the article was not published for the victim's sake, but so Variety could clicks using David's name. Casey really highlighted how bad the timing was. David trying to cover up the essay when the accident with Jeff had already happened. Casey played circus music over this part. The final scene is Jeff and David boxing. Jeff gets in a few jabs and David jokes, "I'm better with construction equipment." Someone asked why Ethan was not included. They included a clip of Frenemies where Trisha asked about Jeff's eye, but zoomed in so only Jeff was showing. He said Ethan was a huge part of revealing a lot of this, but they chose to use Kat's reporting as the anchor for the doc because it was well researched, professional and fact-checked. Now, of course, when Casey Neistat tweeted about his documentary, Ethan Klein was the first person to respond asking, "How can we watch it?" People thought that Trisha may have featured in the documentary because, well, she'd been going off about David Dobrik and the Vlog Squad for years after her ex-boyfriend and Vlog Squad member Jason Nash left her. Trisha, even though currently pregnant, is still going off about the Vlog Squad even today. Literally the other day she was going off about Jason Nash, her ex, on livestream. It was really weird how Trisha was referring to Jason as her boyfriend in that clip, even though he's her ex and has been for a very long time.
I didn't see my boyfriend again. He was, he was somewhere else. And I was just like, okay, so I was going to go to my mom's, spend the night at my mom's. I wake up Saturday morning to a vlog being posted of my boyfriend in the back seat with Tana and another young girl, and talking about how he's attracted to them because they're broken. And I'm just like,
Also, this is very hypocritical because apparently it's fine when Trisha continues to talk about someone, but when Ethan brings Trisha up, he's obsessed apparently and won't leave her alone, and she has these huge mental breakdowns online over it. Now, people were saying there's definitely no way that Casey Neistat would have interviewed Trisha Paytas in this documentary because there's no way that David Dobrik would have participated otherwise. Also, Trisha got called out recently for bringing up Jason in that live stream, and you best believe she tried to turn the tables around and play the victim on Twitter about how she's a changed person and doesn't participate in drama, etc. She went off, and she just looked like she had the maturity of a teenager. It was so cringe. She'd said, "It just feels really good to have found a community that's all about peace and calmness, discovering a hidden talent I never knew I had, and finding a safe space to make quality content. It's also nice to have people enjoying stuff I put out again." As much as I thought I wanted, needed, loved any kind of attention, I realised that desire was destroying me. I'd rather be boring into myself with a peace of mind than inserting myself/judging others for money and notoriety, when really who was I to even judge in the first place? I hated myself. I hated my life for so long, and it seeped out into everything I did. Lost friendships, lost jobs, but I couldn't help myself. I was so miserable. I wanted everyone to feel it too, until I hit rock bottom after rock bottom, and one day it clicked. I did therapy, took meds, etc. It worked a little, but not deeply. It wasn't until last year when I went on a spiritual journey, exploring all teachings, practices and religions, that I found my answers in all of the above. People laughed at me. Some even criticised me for mocking spiritual teachings, while others judged me. I kept my peace, and in that found my centre, connected with the non-physical, honed my strength, protected my power, and life then rewarded me with things I had been missing. I was rewarded with a stable mind, inner peace, self-love, and now with a child of my own. I wanted to have a child for so long, but it was like the universe was waiting for me to heal and discover the the secret, and it was a journey. While I was busy being grateful for my spiritual awakening, the universe gave me more. The universe gave me more and more to be grateful for. I couldn't keep up. Just when I thought my blessings were full and abundance was achieved, I got pregnant. And I just cry happy tears every day that all those teachings were right, that when you focus on you, when you focus on everything you have in life right this minute, and you are thankful and grateful, things work out. Sometimes it takes time. Sometimes it happens instantly. But trusting in abundance and protecting your peace will always lead you to the right path. So get out of your own way. Take a breath, take a minute, and just let it unfold. Stay grateful, stay humble, stay focused on you. Amazing, beautiful miracles are happening every day. Okay, so what are you guys' thoughts on all the tea spilt in Casey Neistat's documentary about David Dobrik? And also, what are your thoughts on Trisha Paytas still going on about her ex? Let me know in the comments.